So today we're going to go over SK3B&C. Basically, these are various hatches or symbols that represent different materials in drafting. We're going to do both plan view hatches and elevation hatches. So come join me and we'll get to it. Of course, the first thing you want to do is print out the printouts for these assignments. As you can see, they're right here. They are put on your module, and you can go ahead and print them out on bond paper. Then you want to place them onto the board securely with your drafting dots. Then we'll take a piece of vellum, cut it in half, and place it over each assignment. The first one we're going to look at is, these are interior elevation hatches. These different symbols represent different finishes in drafting. First thing we want to do is use orthographic projection to repeat this. What we're doing on SK3B is basically mirroring this. So it's okay if you want to go ahead and basically you're going to utilize your parallel bar here. And this is a nice shortcut way to mirror this by utilizing this parallel bar. So after you actually create your beautiful title block, just like we have it on the paper, filling out the important information in your perfect architectural lettering, we will then go ahead and proceed to transfer this component on this side. So what we want to do is create a mirror effect. So how we do that is we line up the top line, and with that very thin hard lead pencil, just make what we call a guideline across. That gives you just a nice little guideline. And you also do it at the bottom. This is part of orthographic projection. We will continue this and follow along all the different tops of these squares. And the goal is to create a mirror-like image using various thicknesses, which we call weights of our pencil, to create these various hatches. And as you look, they tell you what they are. Ceramic tile, which is this checkerboard, brick hatch, cut stone, stucco, glass block, and wood paneling. These implement the materials that are being used on an elevation. Now, how do you duplicate this? You use your handy-dandy scale. So we're going to go ahead and measure the length and the width of this. So we want to make sure that we have our squares perfect. I like to do them in a 1/4" scale. And so you would place that along there. You measure it perfectly, and I'm at 5.5 feet. So give yourself about 1 inch in between. So each square is 5.5 feet. 2, 4, 5.5 feet. Well, you only need to measure once. Now give yourself another little 1/2 inch in between, and another 5.5 feet on a 1/4" scale. Now, the great part is you can use your wonderful triangle. Now I'm going to use a green triangle just so you can see it better. You just line up the little dots, and once again lightly create your guidelines. And now you're creating the mirrored image of what you see. You rest securely this along the bar. Boom and boom. Now once you've got your guidelines, you're kind of ready to go. This is when you go in and you start to darken each line. And you like to use a softer pencil that is heavier in weight. And this will help you get a nice dark line. So now you can go in and really get yourself some nice crisp looking dark lines. And make sure that you're doing all your horizontal lines first and then all your vertical lines. Next, oops, I went over. Have to get that one there. Once you go ahead, oops, got a little smeary, and You go ahead and continue with your horizontal lines, straight across. Stop, start, stop, start. Once you do all the horizontal lines, you'll go back in, and remember, do not drag your triangle this way and smear the lead. You want to go up and do all of your vertical lines at the same time so that they all match up. And this will save you time, give you consistency, and give you the neatest looking drawings. So as you are meeting those lines just perfectly, and now you only have to see how I'm dragging it across, and you are multiplying your time as we do that. So once you've created your squares, you go ahead and use those same techniques to create your hatch. So this is that little ceramic tile. You would use and follow along the guidelines to create that first row of tile. And then you continue creating that checkerboard just by pulling it off and just lining it up here. See how that saves you time? That's orthographic projection. With the brick, you do that to make sure that you're doing it on this side, lining up your straight edge where the little brick hatch is, and continue. Pretty soon you have all your wonderful horizontal lines. Here, with the cut stone, you do the same. Here's a stipple, so that would just require little teeny dots. So try to just mimic what you see using these little teeny, what we call stipples. This what we call little teeny dots. That represents stucco. Here is a grid, that would be simple. But here is a wood grain. This is when you want to freehand. This is when you try to kind of create a wood grain look by just looking at it and mimicking what you see. And I'm sure that this one will be fantastic. So by the time you're done, you will have created a mirror image of what's to the left. Now, just for extra practice, I want you to actually copy these as well. So you'll have two images, but I want you to practice orthographic projection, taking those lines and bringing them straight across to save time and energy. Once you complete this one, go ahead and you can start the next assignment, SK3C. Now these are various hatches as well. So of course the first thing you're going to do is create that very nice dark title block, nice extra thick, and you're going to do much of the same. You're going to create those little rectangles using, once again, lining up your horizontal bar. First you'll give yourself a nice guideline, do your beautiful architectural lettering. You'll create all these little teeny rectangles, and this will just using orthographic projection and slight underlines for the brick and the words, and go through, do all your horizontal lines. Then you will go ahead and add the detail. These are hatches that are standard in all architectural drafting. Brick hatch will look obviously different than this brick hatch. What's the difference? These hatches, and hatches is another word for symbols or little drawings. These hatches represent materials when they're sliced in half. So they're different. These hatches represent materials when you're looking at them straight up in an elevation view. So that really looks like brick. When you look at it, brick looks like that. That looks like cut stone. That is a ceramic tile. Here, it's a little different. You'll find interesting different little hatches that will represent different materials. This is extremely important if you want to go and advance in interior design. A lot of these hatches are found in various tests, like the NCIDQ and the GC for your GC license, and you will see this constantly in details in architectural drawings. So you want to make sure that you memorize these, hang on to this, and it will serve you well in the future. So as you can see, hatches, whether they're elevation or section hatches, are very important in the world of drafting. And I think you've got it covered here.
As you can see, the details really do matter. And as you get more familiar with these standardized hatches and symbols, your drafting will get better and better each time.